Can't find allocated whiskeys like these? Here's what you can buy instead. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So today we've got a fun video and hopefully a helpful video. Today we're talking about 7 highly allocated borderline unicorn bottles and what the alternative might be that you can go out and buy right now today. So the truth is, I still love hunting unicorn bottles. I love the chase and love trying to get them into my collection. It's a big part of the whiskey hunting, whiskey tube hobby. But, you don't always get super lucky, and sometimes your hard work doesn't pay off. And a lot of us just don't want to go through the hassle all the time of trying to find those super highly allocated bottles. Plus, they cost quite a pretty penny. So I wanted to think through what are some alternatives for those really highly allocated bottles that are more affordable, more surefire. You can go out and get them at any time without all the hassle. So let me walk you through my list. Hopefully this will help you as you hunt down whiskey and round out your collection. First, we're going to start off with some heavy hitters. Our first allocated bottle is Jack Daniel's 14 year. Now, super highly allocated unicorn bottle. It did win my Whiskey of the Year bracket in 2025, but I only got it because I was gifted it, which is one of the best bourbon gifts I've ever gotten. What is a good alternative here? Again, $150, highly allocated, super well aged from Jack Daniel's. Don't hate me, but I'm going to go pretty straightforward here, because when a brand already has a really good bottle that's affordable at a good price point, why not consider that the best alternative? So get yourself a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. This bottle is 130.4 proof. Age, they don't say, but I think it's usually in that like 7 to 8 to 9-year-old range for these bottles. Delicious stuff. Could be a little younger than that, but it's high octane Jack Daniel's profile done really, really well. This 14-year-old is 126 proof, so it's also barrel strength, also non-filtered, just really, really good stuff. I mean, I'm going to admit, this isn't a one-to-one comparison. The 14-year has a lot more age and oak and smoke and refinement, but the Jack Daniel's single barrel proofs that I've tried do knock my socks off, and for $70, that's the price point you're going to have here, and much more widely available, a great alternative to the 14. You can do a lot of exploring with the single barrels and just see if you can find one that really hits on all cylinders for you. In the meantime, you can be hunting the 14, but still, you got a great offering right here. Okay, I told you I'm putting the heavy hitters up front here. The next allocated bottle is Russell's Reserve 15. This is probably the best whiskey in my collection. I actually just put it head to head against the Jack Daniel's 14. Not sure if that video has come out yet. Probably has. Let's just say it did well. $250. Essentially impossible to find. What is a good alternative? Again, don't come at me in the comments, or I guess you can. That actually helps the YouTube algorithm. So if you do comment, that's great. But why not go for something that's in its own line that's also very good? Russell's Reserve single barrel. Pretty much the same story as the Jack Daniel's 14. This is the highly allocated, well-aged, exclusive release that's way more money, the Russell's 15. It's an incredible whiskey, don't get me wrong, worth the hunt. But you can explore the Russell's Reserve single barrels at 8 to 9-year-old range, usually around, it's $85 to $90 in most places now, but you can still find some pockets where it's like $65, and that is a huge steal. This gets you close to this. Not on the same level, I'm not going to lie to you. The Russell's Reserve single barrels are very, very good. The Russell's 15 is extraordinary, but these things are fun to explore, really delicious, especially if you start looking into store picks and you look for those that are more in that 9, closer to 10-year-old range. You can get something that's just phenomenally well done from Russell's Reserve. So again, staying within the obvious choice here, but it's so obvious I couldn't ignore it. Moving right along, I I promise the list gets a little bit more interesting. We've gotten some heavy hitters and pretty obvious alternatives out of the way. Let's explore another bottle that a lot of people are hunting that has a lot of nuance to it. That's the Old Forester President's Choice. So this has fluctuated in terms of availability and age. They recently released a lot more of it than they did previously, but they lowered the age to like 7 to 9 years. Used to be more in that 10, 11-year-old range for the most part. That's what this bottle is. It's almost 11 years old. It's also barrel strength and just delicious. It's very, very good. Plenty of age and oak on it and lots of cherry. It's also $250. I paid, I think, close to $280 or $290 to get it shipped to me. So lucky enough to be able to buy it online, but costs a ton. I actually think the MSRP might be like $225, but still very, very expensive. What's a good alternative? Here's an interesting one. Still Austin Cask Strength. Yeah, young whiskey, 2 years old, but dang good. You want that barrel strength, powerful influence from Old Forester? You can find it in a Still Austin Cask Strength. This tastes like oatmeal raisin cookie to me. It is delicious stuff, full of flavor, really, really dense and rich. And honestly, if you put these two whiskeys in front of me and I tasted them, I do not think I would be able to tell you that this bottle was the $225 bottle for sure, and this bottle was available for like 55 to 60 bucks everywhere. I do not think there is that much of a world of difference between these two, unless you get one of the like best Old Forester President's Choices ever, which is kind of hit or miss. Still Austin Cask Strength is holding down the fort as delicious stuff at a lot more affordable price point. Let's keep it going with another allocated bottle people are hunting down year after year. Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. So $175 MSRP, barrel strength stuff from Maker's Mark and some of their oldest stocks. 11 to 12-year-old range was when they first released it. Now they've got some 14-year-old stuff in there. It's just the oldest stuff you're going to get from Maker's Mark, a very well-respected brand, but very difficult to find and very expensive. What is a good alternative? This one's going to come a little bit maybe out of left field, but I think it's got good reasons to go toe-to-toe with this. New Riff 8-year-old bourbon. So I know what you're probably thinking right off the bat. Wait, this isn't a wheated bourbon, and Maker's Mark is, and that's kind of the most important thing about Maker's is that it's wheated. Well, I'll tell you, the 8-year-old New Riff has good age and tons of cherry and oak and richness that I think competes with the Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. Again, I don't think it's quite as complex as the Cellar Aged, but for $60 to $65, it is a great pour that people are overlooking. It's not wheated, but it's plenty approachable. It's only 100 proof, but it still packs quite a wallop. And I think that these two bottles, while very different in makeup, are relatively similar in profile for me. And I would say the New Riff 8-year-old is a great alternative if you're looking for something that's cherry, oak forward, really good sweetness with a good kind of backbone. The Maker's Mark is delicious stuff, but very hard to find and very expensive. Let's keep it rolling with another bottle that people long to add to their collection because of the brand power here. Michter's 10 Bourbon. Again, great stuff. Sometimes it's way older than 10 years. I know that they've been putting stocks in these bottles occasionally that are 15 years plus. They just stick with the 10-year because that's the brand and everybody associates great juice with this brand and this label. 200 bucks, very difficult to find. Often regularly or semi-regularly available at the distillery, like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks they'll release it in the morning or afternoon there. But you got to be in Louisville, you got to be in the right place at the right time, and it's just a unicorn bottle for a lot of people. What's a great alternative? Well, Knob Creek 12-year. To be honest with you, you get a higher age statement right off the bat. Again, Michter's might be older, but I think the caramel, cinnamon, brown sugar core of the Knob Creek 12 approximates some of what you get in the Michter's 10, which is a very brown sugar, oak forward bourbon for me. This definitely has a bit more of a refined character, but the Knob Creek 12 has a raw sweetness and a great proof point at 100 proof that really just drives it home. The Michter's is a little bit lower proof. I think it's 94.4, so relatively similar there. But for $65 to $70 at the Knob Creek 12, I mean, honestly, it's a great alternative. You can buy multiple of these while you wait to hunt down a Michter's 10 or just completely in replacement of it. All right, so I've got two final bottles for you. We're really circling back to some amazing heavy hitters. Just before we reveal those, I do want to say if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel, would really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. The vast majority of people who watch the channel, even watch it regularly, don't subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed already, join us for the journey through 2026. A lot more great content coming your way. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. Just helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And then comment down below. What are some highly allocated bottles that maybe you've decided not to hunt, and give me an alternative that you're hunting instead. All right, let's get back to the list. The next allocated bottle is Four Roses limited edition small batch. This bottle continues to creep up in price. I think it used to be like $150 a few years ago. Now it's closer to $220, $230, creeping up to $250. It's really good. It's Four Roses. If you're a big Four Roses fan, I think this release every year is a big one for you. Barrel strength, usually very good age, like 16 years plus on a lot of these. But honestly, not my most favorite allocated bottle that I have. I don't feel like it just screams super, super special to me, which makes it relatively simple to find a very good alternative, a bottle I was really impressed with at a lower price point. James E. Pepper, barrel proof. Similar shape of bottle, beauty, attractiveness, appeal here. Barrel strength. I think this is similar in terms of having a more funky, fruity flavor profile, kind of like Four Roses tends to have. A little bit spicy with a higher rye content, and you get this like white grape, pear, cherry thing on the James E. Pepper. And the Four Roses, I tend to get a lot more of those like bright red fruits and cherries. So I see these as relatively similar. But again, the James E. Pepper is pretty much widely available. I've seen it on discount for like $50. It's usually like a $60 to $65 bottle. Compare that to the Four Roses, which is very difficult to find and continues to go up in price. I really think you'll be pleased if you add the James E. Pepper to your collection. And again, you could get multiple in the amount of time and money it would take to get a Four Roses small batch limited edition. And last but not least, I've saved a bottle that is truly a unicorn, both in form and the way it tastes. People just eye up this bottle and say, I need one. And I've been one of those people in the past many a time. I still love the brand. That is Old Fitzgerald Bottled in Bond. So my representative today is the very, very special release from 2024. This is a 13-year-old bottle. It is one of the top 5 whiskeys I own. It's phenomenal stuff. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't think my alternative is better than it, but I do think it's a really good, intriguing, much more affordable bottle, which is the Bardstown Bourbon Company High Wheat Origin Series. So this is a bottled in bond product, 6 years old. High wheat content to compete with the wheated characteristics you're gonna get in that Old Fitz for $50. They recently changed the logos on these, by the way, or the labels. I don't like the new labels, I'll just say that. But this classic look and this bottle, the juice, what really matters is the juice here is awesome. Plenty of wheat characteristics, plenty of heft, good like raw honey, a little bit of fruitiness, but good oak, and then a big wheat, kind of Wheaties presence on this thing. The Old Fitz, again, I do think is a superior whiskey, superior brand, but Bardstown Bourbon Company's Origin Series isn't trying to compete with this, and yet it sits there quietly available. And this is one I think people have come around to, started talking about more and more, but still deserves even more hype because it's very, very, very good. Old Fitz, again, legendary bottle, but the Bardstown Bourbon Company, high wheat especially, a really standout bottle and bond experience for $50 that I think too many people are ignoring on the shelves. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Those were 7 highly allocated bottles, in some cases true unicorns, and an alternative that I think is a great option to go get if, one, you just want to taste a somewhat similar profile or a really excellent whiskey in that sort of vein, or 2, you just don't want to go through the hassle of hunting down the allocated bottles anymore and you want a surefire thing that's going to taste great. Or I guess I'll add a third option is if you're really trying to find one of those allocated bottles but you can't, and in the meantime you just want to add something that adds a ton of value to your collection, these are all great picks. So hopefully the video has been helpful. Let me know in the comments below again what you thought of the list and any more of your thoughts around allocated whiskey and its alternatives these days. Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.